Have you ever wondered about the kind of person who could literally vanish into thin air? I mean, leaving only cryptic clues behind, almost like they were, well, a phantom. Today we're doing a deep dive into exactly that kind of figure. Fascinating, frustrating, and completely enigmatic. He's known only as Ghost. Our mission today is to try and piece together a profile of this person, look into these really strange scratches he supposedly leaves behind, and maybe even try to crack a puzzle that might just unmask him. We're pulling our insights from quite a mix of sources. There are excerpts from The Enigma of Ghost, a profile and puzzle, this strange letter sent to the police, Dr. Samuel Kessler's forensic analysis, which is pretty groundbreaking, even some, whispers from people who claim they've actually crossed paths with him. So we're going to extract the key bits of information from all these fragments. We want to help you understand not just what defines Ghost, but why he's such a mystery, and what his actions really tell us about, well, a master of deception. Get ready for some surprising connections and hopefully a few aha moments. Okay, so to really get a handle on Ghost, we need to start with the physical picture, right? Even without clear photos, our sources give us a surprisingly detailed description. We're talking about someone tall, between 5'11" and 6'2", and noticeably muscular. What does that immediately suggest to you?
Well, that physique, it tells a story right off the bat. It's not just general fitness. It points towards a background that demands serious physical discipline, maybe former athlete or military, even some kind of operative training. And the reports also mention his movements. They call them deliberate. His gaze, piercing. It paints this picture of intense focus, real control. Age-wise, they guess late 30s to early 50s, but he's clearly in peak condition, almost like a finely tuned instrument.
And it's not just the build, right? The sketch is based on witness accounts. They show someone with angular features, short hair, but also this tendency to wear completely nondescript clothing. Why is that detail, the bland clothes, so important for someone like him?
Oh, it's absolutely critical. It's key to his ability to just vanish into crowds. His whole look, really, from the build to the forgettable clothes, it screams someone who can be powerful when needed, but who primarily wants to blend in. It shows a really strategic mind, camouflage over everything else.
Strategic. And that meticulousness seems to carry over into something else the sources keep mentioning.
Yeah.
These physical scratches. What exactly are we talking about here, and why are they so significant?
Yeah, the scratches. That's a huge question mark, isn't it? Are they old scars, maybe? Something from a violent past? Or are they something he leaves behind, deliberately? Some people speculate it's like a calling card, taunting people. Others think they're just incidental marks from whatever he does in the shadows. But Dr. Samuel Kessler, the forensic science professor we mentioned, he has some really interesting findings on this. He actually analyzed a wooden surface from a crime scene in Portland where these scratches were found.
Portland.
Okay.
And what did Kessler find? What did the analysis show?
Kessler's pretty convinced they're deliberate, not accidental, possibly some kind of code, or maybe a unique signature. His forensic work confirmed they were made by a single blade and wielded with real precision, which lines up perfectly with everything else we hear about ghosts, that focus, that control. So it suggests someone incredibly meticulous, someone who needs control, even in the tiny traces left behind. It's not random. It feels like a statement.
A statement. Wow. Okay, so beyond the physical presence of these weird marks, his actual identity is still a complete blank slate. He's known apparently in some underground circles. Maybe law enforcement has had fleeting encounters, but the wider world, totally unknown. How does someone even do that today? Maintain that level of anonymity?
Well, that gets us right into his core method, what the sources call ghosting. It's chilling, really. He assumes the identities of people who've died. He finds and exploits these gaps in bureaucratic systems, uses forgotten lives, unclaimed identities to just move around completely undetected. Dr. Kessler actually has this anecdote. He remembers a student called himself Nathan Finch. Tall, muscular guy, showed up to one of his lectures about a decade ago, asked these incredibly specific, pointed questions about document forgery, biometric evasion, how to beat the system.
Right, a student.
Yeah, but when Kessler later tried to look up Nathan Finch in the university records, nothing. No such student ever enrolled.
Whoa.
Kessler suspects it was Ghost, not there to learn in the usual sense, but actively gathering intelligence on how to stay invisible.
So this isn't just someone on the run trying to lay low. Is it? I mean, the focus, the physical ability, studying forensics, it suggests something more purposeful than just hiding or petty crime. Is he a fugitive? A vigilante, maybe?
Huh?
Or something else?
Exactly. That's the million-dollar question.
Yeah.
His actions are so calculated. Leaving the scratches, maybe writing taunting letters, studying the very science used to catch people like him. It all points to a really strategic mind. Could be a personal vendetta driving him. Or maybe he's trying to expose flaws in the system. Or it could be something ideological we just don't understand yet. He's a master of deception. Those forged documents he uses, they might pass a quick check, but Kessler's work shows they wouldn't stand up to real forensic scrutiny. Looking at paper fibers, ink, microscopic details, but they're good enough for him to slip through the cracks.
Okay, so to try to get closer to who he might be, our sources actually lay out this cryptic puzzle. Feels like this designed to challenge investigators. And, well, us. The clues come from that police letter, Kessler's analysis, those whispers. It starts like this. I am the shadow that walks in plain sight, known to few, unseen by most. Solve these clues to name me, but beware. Each step brings you closer to the void. Okay, let's try and unpack this. Clue number 1 is the mark of passage. My scratches tell a tale, carved in wood or whispered on skin. Count them thrice, in groups of 5, where the last is never whole. What number do you see?
Okay, this ties right back to Kessler's work on those scratches, that precision. Thrice in groups of 5 where the last is never whole. So 3 sets of 5 scratches, but the last set is incomplete, meaning 1 scratch is missing from the third group, so 4 in the last set.
Right, so 5 plus 5 plus 4.
Exactly, that makes 14. It hints at that meticulousness, but also maybe a deliberate incompleteness.
14. Got it. Okay, clue 2. The stolen veil. I wear a name not mine, born when another's light went dim. In records kept by Oregon's watch, my birth aligns with death. Find the year I claimed, when 2 became 1.
And this is clearly his ghosting method, taking a dead person's identity, from Oregon records specifically. So he finds someone who died, say, in 1987, and uses that information, maybe their birth details, but linked to their death year somehow, to create a false identity starting in that year.
So the year he claimed the identity.
It points to the year of death he co-opted. Let's go with the example given, 1987. It highlights how he weaves himself into these forgotten timelines.
Okay, 1987. Next clue. The man of measure. Taller than most, yet not a giant, my frame carries strength unyielding. Between 11 and 2 my height is set, but my shadow shifts with purpose. What measure defines me?
This one's about his physical profile again. We know he's between 5'11 and 6'2". The clue between 11 and 2 is a clever reference to inches on a foot ruler, framing the range 5'11 and 6'2", but focusing on the midpoint.
The midpoint. Yeah. So right in the middle of that range would be
6 feet even. 6 foot year. It reinforces that he's tall, imposing, but maybe not so tall as to be instantly memorable everywhere he goes.
6 feet. All right. Clue 4 is the focused path. My mind is a blade, honed on silence, cutting through chaos. In the city of bridges, I left a note, folded thrice, beneath lion's gaze. Where did I stand?
City of Bridges. That's almost certainly Portland, Oregon, especially given Kessler's crime scene sample was from there. The lion's gaze could be a specific landmark, maybe related to the famous Portlandia statue, or perhaps something near the bridges like the Lion Gate Bridge, so that's technically Vancouver, or maybe near the South Park Block's Lions. But the key here is the city.
Portland. Seems consistent.
Yeah, it points to Portland as a significant location for him.
Portland it is. Okay, last clue, number 5. The professor's doubt. Kessler knows my face, or thinks he does, from a lecture hall long ago. A student's query, a fleeting glance. My name was false, but my question's true. What science did I seek?
And that leads straight back to Kessler's story about Nathan Finch, the suspicious student. What science would someone trying to perfect forgery and evasion be interested in learning from a forensic science professor?
How to beat forensics, presumably.
Exactly. He was seeking knowledge about forensic science itself to understand its methods and, crucially, its limitations. So the answer is forensic science. It shows his intellectual drive to master his craft.
Forensic science. Okay, so we have the answers. 14, 1987, 6 feet, Portland, and forensic science. Now, the puzzle gives us a final challenge. Take the answers. Number, year, measure, place, and science. Align their first letters, read them as one, and speak my name. Let's try that. From 14, well, numbers don't usually have first letters in this context. How does that work? Maybe it's meant to be spelled out. F-O-U-R-T-E-E-N.
Or maybe it's positional. The 14th letter, that's N. Let's try spelling it out first, like you said. 14 starts with F. 1987, N for 19, or E for 80. This is tricky. Let's reread the source's take on the solution.
Okay, the source material interpretation used the numeral 14 to somehow get O. Let's assume that's a given convention of this puzzle. 1987 gives N, 6 feet gives S, Portland gives P, and forensic science gives F.
Okay, so if we follow that specific interpretation from the source, ONSPF, ONSPF, that doesn't spell anything. It's not a name.
Exactly, and that is perhaps the most fascinating part. ONSPF. It doesn't resolve into a name, and maybe that's the entire point. It's not a failure of the puzzle, it's the punchline. It suggests Ghost's identity isn't a name you can just find and speak. His identity is his elusiveness. The puzzle itself becomes another taunt, reflecting his ability to always slip away, even when he seems to be giving you the answers.
Wow. So even when he lays out the clues, he's still ahead, always out of reach. So what does this non-answer tell us about him overall? What's the big picture here? It paints a really clear, almost chilling picture. Ghost isn't just physically capable, he's incredibly smart, meticulous, and a brilliant strategist. The training, whether it's military or something else covert, seems undeniable. It explains how he stays untraceable. He uses deception, assuming identities, exploiting systems. It's not just a tool for him, it's like his core operating principle. And his actions, the scratches, the puzzle, they hint at a deeper purpose, a long game. He's this figure who is somehow known yet completely unknown. His real name, his true motivation, always just beyond our grasp, even for those who might encounter him briefly. He's defined in the end by the very mystery he creates, like a modern D.B. Cooper or, a Peas or So's from the movies. The Enigma is the essence.
So we've peeled back as many layers as we can on Ghost. A truly enigmatic figure, challenging our ideas of identity itself. We've seen this picture emerge. A man with an imposing presence, intense focus, leaving behind those strange signature scratches, and mastering the art of ghosting by using the identities of the deceased. And his puzzle, even though it doesn't give us a neat name, it perfectly highlights his strategic mind, his meticulous planning, and that uncanny ability to always remain one step ahead. What this deep dive really shows, I think, is how you can take these fragments, these scattered bits of information, and when you analyze them, connect them, you can build a compelling picture, even if it's an incomplete one. It really highlights that constant dance, doesn't it, between those trying to hide and those trying to uncover. So as we wrap up, what really stands out to you about Ghost? If, like the puzzle suggests, to name him is to chase him, and he's always one step ahead, does that elusiveness define him more profoundly than any name ever could? Or is it the chase itself, the pursuit of his identity, that's the real puzzle keeping us all hooked?